Spoiler alert, my morning routine isn't all ice baths and coffee. It's not perfect, but I'm gonna take you through it today. The No Fade channel, checking in. Jonathan here, and I am gonna be taking you through my morning routine, but I gotta be honest right off the top. There's no such thing as a perfect morning routine. For everyone that's human, that has a job, obligations, school, kids, you're never gonna have what is considered a perfect morning routine. But you can still have a magnificent morning routine that suits your schedule and gives you amazing benefits in your life. And hopefully, by covering my routine and what works for me, might give you a few little insights into things you can add into yours. Wait just 1 minute. Before I give you all of the secrets to my success, I want to know if you have any morning routines, rituals, or tips that are beneficial. Let me know. Comment down below. Roll call. I wake up every morning at 3:30 a.m. And I'm not trying to be Mark Wahlberg. I'm not trying to be Jocko. I'm not trying to be The Rock. I have learned, unfortunately, through trial and tribulations, that if I want to get stuff done that matters to me, I got to do it first thing in the morning. And as a parent, as a dad of two, I learned once I had children that I better get it done before they're awake, or most likely it's not going to happen. I have learned that the further you put something out into the day that you want to accomplish, the less likely that it will. Oftentimes throughout our day, stuff just kind of gets in the way. Work obligations pop out of nowhere, your school calls and your kid's sick. A whole myriad of issues can occur, and what's worse, the later out in the day you go, the more tired you are. When my first child came along over 8.5 years ago, I initially tried to get all of the great things I wanted to accomplish in my life done as soon as he went to bed, and I quickly realized that it just wasn't going to happen. The productivity level I was at when my son finally went to bed was almost at zero, and oftentimes things kind of just got in the way of him going to bed, whether he was sick, didn't want to go to sleep, or he just woke up much earlier than I had planned. And that just left all my goals, all my obligations, all the things that I really wanted to get done in the wastebasket. After that realization, I quickly became a morning person and put all of the important things that I wanted to get done, that I needed to get done for the day, first thing in the morning before any of the family was awake, in order to quickly ramp myself up to full throttle when in fact my body just wants to be asleep. I go through a few small things to kind of get my mindset ramped up and to trick my body into thinking it's way more awake than it is. Number one, I put my face right in front of some bright lights in my bathroom. That bright light helps me just kind of wake up and kind of tricks me into thinking that it's sunlight, even though it's pitch black outside. Number two, I wash my face down with icy cold water from the tap. It's uncomfortable and it just kind of shocks the system. And then I follow that up with a nice warm face wash and a shave to kind of give myself the impression that, hey, it's morning time, it's time to get to work. After this quick wake-up routine, it is time to train. Thankfully, my gym is actually in my basement, so the travel time is zero. Almost every morning that I work out, I will consume first thing out the gate a pre-workout. It's not something I'm necessarily proud of, and I try to use less versus more, but when you wake up as early as I do, trying to kind of get out of the blocks quickly and get into your workout does take a little bit of an eye-opener. And I've got no affiliation with Shifted pre-workout. They did send this to me for free. I want to quickly go over what I look for in a pre-workout. Number one, 20 servings per container. That's typical of most pre-workouts, but they do something really good. They drop in a massive scoop size, 30 grams. Keep in mind, some pre-workouts are only dropping like 8 grams. So 30 grams of ingredients, that means you're getting a ton of stuff for your money. As far as pumps, which we love to see in the gym to kind of get that blood flow, get ourselves moving and just feel good throughout the workout, L-citrulline at a whopping 8 grams. We also have, For strength and strength endurance, 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, beta-alanine at 2.5 grams, beta-alanine anhydrous at 2.5 grams, a whopping 2 grams of L-tyrosine for focus. That's going to get you woken up and literally give you that mind-muscle connection that we want in the gym. Also for performance, we got red spinach leaf, beetroot extract, which I love, alpha GPC, another great nootropic at 300 milligrams, and then caffeine. They do something I really like with the caffeine. They don't drop in too much. They drop in a lot, 300 total milligrams, but not crazy amounts. Your body can usually handle 300 milligrams, and it's not going to give you the jitters or the spikes. They go a step further and they use 2 forms of caffeine, fast-acting caffeine anhydrous, and then longer duration caffeine, allowing you not to get that spike and to make sure that this energy lasts 4+ hours. I will say, because it's so early in the morning, I do have an extended warm-up routine. And frankly, the older I get, the longer my warm-up routine is. I do take almost 20 minutes to get myself warmed up to the point that I can actually stretch. I then do a full body stretch. And finally, after all of that, I make sure to do some warm-up sets of the exercises I'm gonna be tackling. Timeout. I need to give all of you a massive thank you. You have been using my affiliate links, which are in the description of today's video, and when you use those links, they do support the channel, and all proceeds go right back into making future reviews. So when you use those links, let me know so that I can send you a small token of my appreciation. During my training, I really like to stay hydrated. I will mix a 32-ounce container of water with my intra-workout and pink Himalayan sea salt. Now, there's plenty of fantastic intra-workouts out there. I typically like IntraBlast for the main reason that it's got a stacked 23-gram ingredients panel, BCAAs, EAAs, everything you could possibly want in your intra-workout. And I'm a big fan, a big believer of adding salt, just a pinch, just a little bit, into your intra-workout because you're sweating so much, you want to kind of put that salt back in. My training split is push, pull, legs, followed by a recovery. And during those training days, I do throw in some functional training. This split, this routine, I've done for a number of years now, largely because it just simply works. The recovery is good, so I'm not feeling run down by the time I cycle back, and I am not prone to injury on this routine. There's no crazy max lifts, and there's no crazy eccentric type of training that's gonna cause me to do some type of like squat a ton of plates on a Bosu ball while I'm juggling. None of that crazy Fugazi stuff. I just keep it meat and potatoes, and it works. Because time is tight and it is a ticking time bomb until those titans of terror are up and in my face, I do a very quick post-workout meal. It's simply a protein shake that consists of collagen peptides, 10 grams, that's for aesthetics, that's for joints, as well as skin elasticity, 5 grams of glutamine, that is for gut health and immune support, as well as about 25 grams of some form of whey protein. I don't necessarily, hold to a specific type of protein or flavor. I do tend to mix that up from time to time. My post-workout carbs are some form of oatmeal. Typically, I will do steel cut oats because they are lower on the glycemic index. They do take longer to cook, but I'm able to prep them on the rice cooker and set the timer so that as soon as my workout is usually done, they are ready to go. I want to quickly touch base on many of the things that people incorporate into their morning routine that you may not have heard me talk about. Number one is sunlight, and many people will say it's so important first thing in the morning to get sunlight, and I agree. For many of you, it's just not going to happen. You're not going to be able to get up and go out for a walk. Some of you are off to work before the sun is even up. I typically do get as much sunlight as possible. On most mornings, I will walk my son to the bus stop. So that's a good 10-15 minute process of being out in the sun. But let's face it, it's obviously not nearly as much as you should. And if you can get sunlight, great. But if you can't, hey, don't hold it against yourself. As I mentioned, you can put your face in front of some bright lights you have at your house, and that will not necessarily do the same exact thing, but it will help your system, your mental acuity kind of perk up and think that it's a little bit more awake than it really is. Ice baths. If you've watched this channel at all before, you know I love my ice baths. I don't do them in the morning because it would take me a little too long to fully warm up after those ice baths and then get loosened up in order to train with weights. And I don't do them post-workout because it's not good for your system. In fact, you don't want to actually dive into an ice bath post-workout because it will inhibit your body's natural growth of that muscle and the reason that you're training. I usually try to give myself 4 or even 6 hours following my training before I dunk into the ice bath and enjoy that pleasure. Meditation. We all hear tons of people talking about their morning meditation. Maybe they journal a little bit, and that's fantastic. If you've got the time, if you've got the inclination, you should do that as well. I don't meditate. I do feel and find that the time I get to myself in my home gym while I'm warming up and training, while not meditation, is really enjoyable, and it does help me write down some of the thoughts I have for the accomplishments I want to achieve throughout the day. Intermittent fasting. It is a big craze. A lot of people find it beneficial and find that it works in their schedule to just wake up, have a black cup of coffee, and get off to the races. I will tell you that intermittent fasting is fantastic for gut health. It's fantastic for caloric restriction. And overall, it's fantastic for lowering your insulin sensitivity. I typically fast on my rest days when I'm not training. I typically will go 16 hours. So every 4 days, I get a fast in, but it's not something that I incorporate on a day-to-day basis. If you can work it into your schedule, into your lifestyle, it will have significant benefits for you. As I mentioned earlier, I don't think there's a perfect morning routine out there. I think you need to figure out what works for you, and rather than be perfect, try to be consistent. If you made it this far in the video, you and I are officially best friends. Tango and Cash. We are men at work. Thanks for watching, and don't save anything for the trip back.